You want to plan a trip and you have no idea where to start? Well, you came to the right place. After traveling 28 countries, I want to share with you guys my experience, and with 6 easy steps I will give you all you need to know to build an entire trip by yourself. Without further ado, let's start from step number 1. The first thing I do is choosing my destination and my budget. The cost of traveling might scare people, but it really doesn't have to be that expensive. Follow my steps so you can make your trip as cheap as possible.
In many cases, I choose my destination by how far it's from my home, because the cost of the flight takes a big part of the trip budget. For instance, when traveling to Southeast Asia, the destination is cheap, but the flight is long and expensive. I like to use a website called budgetyourtrip.com to browse countries where I want to travel. It shows you the average prices of restaurants, accommodations, transportation, etc. That way you can find a destination that fits your budget.
Step 2 is mapping your trip. After I choose my destination and my budget, I look for things to do and I map all the places I want to visit in Google Maps.
I do it before looking for flights because it's important to me to understand how many days I need for the trip, and according to this I will look for flights. Also, you want to understand if the destination is interesting to you. And maybe you will find some places you want to go outside of the city, so you will consider renting a car or looking for public transportation. In Google Maps I saved all the places with prices and short descriptions to use in my trip.
By the way, I will leave a link in the descriptions to the map with all my recommended places I saved from one of my last trips. After we decided how many days we want to travel, we start looking for flights. It will be the first thing that we will book because it's most likely to run out of seats and we don't want to end up without no flight.
I recommend using Google Flights, Skyscanner and Matrix ITA. If you are flexible in dates, Google Flights will give you the dates of the cheapest flights, while Skyscanner search on the specific dates. Matrix ITA, on the other hand, is also a powerful search engine where you choose dates and you can extend the search by up to 2 days, give or take. Be aware that all of them show you the lowest ticket possible. In other words, a baggage is not included in the prices shown.
Pro tip: all these 3 engines are wonderful, but sometimes they miss small fleet airlines in remote destinations. So what I like to do is to search the airport in the Wikipedia and look for the destinations table.
This way I found a flight from Santo Domingo to Cancun with an ultra low cost tiny airline called Arajet. Let's talk about ordering the ticket. I always book a flight only from the airline itself. Don't be tempted to order from a third-party company even if the prices they offer are cheaper than the airline itself. In case you need to change or cancel the plans, you will probably lose your money.
Step number 4. Booking accommodation. There's a lot of ways to book accommodation, either directly from the hotel or a booking company. I'm not their sponsor, trust me, but my favorite is booking.com.
At first the prices might not be the cheapest compared to others, but they offer you a Geniu program in which you level up as you order accommodations. The highest Geniu level is 3, that gives you up to 20% discount. In addition, from time to time you receive credits that you can use for booking hotels.
A few tips on how I search for recommendations.
Use the mobile booking application rather than just a computer because the app got slightly lower prices. Choose the filters that are important to you. I always look for places with private room, private bathroom and breakfast included. Don't necessarily look for fancy hotels, instead look for small private accommodations with only a few rooms. This way you support small businesses and get personal attention. I always read the last reviews up to half a year, especially the negative ones, to see what people don't like about the place. If the rate of the place is above 7.5, it's a good place to stay. Look at the map and make sure you stay next to attractions or at least next to public transportation. Last trip we have been to Prague, and in the first sight the hotel seems to be far from the center, but we had a tram that takes you only 10 minutes to get to attractions. On the other hand, if you travel with a car, you might consider staying out of the city for a cheaper price and more local and unique experience.
Step number 5. Booking attractions. We have flight tickets, we booked our accommodation, and now it is time to plan how we're gonna spend our time in the trip. Previously we talked about mapping our attractions, so you probably already know what attractions you want to order.
There are two major apps to use for look for attractions: Get Your Guide and Viator. They both have search by destination and it's shown all the activities they offer around. There you can find full description, time duration, pickup location and prices. Both are easy to use. You receive your voucher inside your application and to your email, so it's 100% legit. I use them on every trip I go. Prices are mostly similar, but sometimes they are slightly different, so always check the same attraction in both applications. Be aware that if you're looking for places like museums, the cheapest option will be buying the ticket at the museum itself.
Step number 6. The last thing to worry about is car rental and transportation. Now when the entire trip is planned, we need to understand how to get around, either by a car or either by public transportation.
If it is an urban trip in a big city, you might want to use the public transportation. On the other hand, if you go outside of the city, I would suggest to rent a car. This way you save time, you are free to go anywhere and can get to the countryside where public transport doesn't go. Another aspect is safety. When I was planning our trip to the Dominican Republic, I read that pickpockets in buses is very common, so we decided to rent a car.
So how do you rent a car, you might ask? I use a website called rentalcars.com.
You choose dates and destination airports where you want to rent the car, and the website will search all the companies and offers available. We travel as a couple, so I always choose the smallest and the cheapest car. You can book the car straight from this site and the booking is guaranteed for you. Here are some things you must pay attention before booking the car. Make sure the rental office works at the time of your arrival. Make sure the offer got unlimited mileage so you don't pay extra on return. Check that the offer got collision damage waiver and thief protection insurance included. Pay attention that the card you pay with named on the driver, that important rule of all car rental companies. And last tip is, if you know how to drive manual, they are always cheaper than the automatic ones.
That's it guys, that's all the info you need to start planning a trip by yourself. Hope it was useful. Comment below if you got any questions. Subscribe and I'll see you in the next trip. Cheers!